taken. I know there are a few more on the list that we're not mentioning here.
Just for my own clarity, if I understand correctly, Centers of Excellence refers to subjects and courses that you think would advertise to the public well, that should be seen more visibly? That sounded like what you said.
Not necessarily. We're taking directly from your educational master plan, where Centers of Excellence were defined, I think, as those programs that are seen to have synergies or relationships that help strengthen Laney's entire educational programs and offerings to the community. And so the way we respond to that may be, in fact, give it more street presence or recognition, but it may simply also be your facility's over in building A for this, and then part of it's over in B, and then some of it's in G. Some of it may simply be consolidating them so that they can be more collaborative. So there's a variety of responses.
I think the key is the Centers of Excellence were not developed by us.
Right.
Developed by you.
You know what I'm saying is that one of the ones
the issue was that it was not talked about them being put together in a single space. It was just areas of collaboration.
Right, and sometimes, we'll start to show you as we move through the master plan, not every Center of Excellence was addressed with a space solution, because we agree with you, it wasn't always appropriate. It's not always necessary. Some programs, some different classes and things are situated fine just where they are, and a renovation in place is what's appropriate to simply improve the facilities that that program resides in right now. So it was not always the answer to move them or to try and get them all next to each other in one space or building. But what we did try and do is look a little more at the zoning of the entire campus. And if there's already a presence, say where the theater is, of a performing arts presence, or there's already the arts building off to the back next to building B, and there's visual arts and studio space there, are there some other programs that are kind of stragglers off in another corner that might benefit from at least being a little bit more physically close to those similar type of uses?
I noticed on the slide before for physical education, that was one of the spaces that you had decreased the need. And in our plan that we had put through our strategic plan for our department, it was we need more space. So how do you get that?
Well,
it was demonstrated as open.
I don't think it was specifically. It's slightly the numbers, but I will tell you that from our perspective, we didn't do anything different in terms of taking away space from the physical ed facilities. We just recommend sort of a whole-scale renovation and upgrade because they are not effective for you and they're in dire need of maintenance from where they stand today. So, in some cases...
Excuse me, can we hold these questions so that we can move very quickly? We're running behind. Go ahead.
So, those are kind of the major points that I wanted to make in terms of the programmatic considerations that we picked up on as we then started to develop master plan options. And now I wanted to just touch on again what rounds out that vision. Again, enhancing the campus learning environment was kind of our main directive, but then also supporting these programs of excellence, if possible, with facility changes or improvements. Improving the campus entries and image was a big point made, as well as wayfinding, accessibility, security that Frederick touched on. Landscaping and open space, again, improving the quality of the landscaping throughout the campus. And then finally, everything just sort of having an overriding guideline of being done in a sustainable fashion. So anything that we're suggesting or recommending in the master plan is always tied to a view of making this a more sustainable campus in the future and helping to give you a map to implement different measures, different ideas as you renovate facilities to actually improve their performance over time. I'm going to turn it over to Byron to just talk now about actually the master plan itself, some of the principles we've taken forward and that helped organize our thinking and our options, and then take you through and show you what the actual master plan is that we've been developing.
Thank you, Cheryl. The master plan that we've worked on is not, as has been pointed out, the only way to carry forward with the campus. It's been our response to what we heard and our ideas that we think could help you reach some of your goals. And we're certainly looking for, in the future, there'll be a lot more input to come into this, but these are some of our thoughts about how the campus can move forward. It's very important, I think, that we maintain the integrity of the existing campus, that we don't do not dissolve the identity of Laney and the projects that we do to enhance its capabilities and its appearance. Secondly, it's very important that we reuse because of that, because we want to maintain the identity and because we want to be efficient with resources. Let's reuse what you have that can be made effective, and let's take advantage of buildings that perhaps are not effective or are planned well, and maybe we reintroduce something there that's new. Thirdly, that we make sure that whatever we do is sustainable, that we're thinking about the future, that the campus develops an image and a reality as well of being as sustainable as we can make it into the future. Part of this is going to involve introducing some new architectural and environmental landscape elements to the campus that will sort of raise its level from what still looks a bit like a 1970s BART station, now that I come out of Leave Merit again today, and bring it up to something that's a little more current, and something that will appeal to people in the present day. One of the things we've done is look clearly at the perimeter of the campus. You said that the corners of the campus really are important to us, I think, and that they really sort of set the frame for the overall campus. And so we're looking at holding that perimeter around, but enhancing the quality of that walkway and driveway that runs around the perimeter, so that we're gaining that connection to the connection to the community. That's really where people filter through to the campus. Looking specifically at the entrances and the landscape and the architecture and the sort of site elements that you encounter when you come in from BART, or when you cross from the parking, or when you drive by. What do you see of Laney that calls to your attention? As well as developing a new connection on the north side to the cultural buildings to the north. Make sure we're also providing a parking and access from the north side. Then also as well, how do we enhance the connection down to the estuary? We haven't shown anything in particular down here right now, but I know that different ideas have come up about whether we provide an amphitheater, it's new seating, it's a place for the arts, what could happen there. Those are all still possibilities. One idea that is in the master plan is to rethink some of the surrounds around the swimming pools, that when you're there, you actually can see across to the estuary instead of having your view blocked by the back connection across the back of the swimming pool. All of this with the intention of trying to strengthen the front doors and strengthen the appearance of Laney when you walk up to it and drive up to it. We're aware that it's not only big buildings, but there's elements that are at your human scale that say you can understand where you are, and that approach you at a detail level and at an informational level at your scale. You can see what you're getting into when you come. You can see advertisements for what's happening on campus. So this is the overall master plan that we'll be walking through a little bit this afternoon. There are certain projects that are already underway, or have been proposed and are moving forward slowly. This is the library and the learning center. The arts building and the library sort of create different kinds of buildings that are in the estuary. The master plan retains the overall sort of block of Laney itself, but then lets other buildings become something else in the estuary. One of the buildings that might become something else is the child care. We're working with the district and with the master planning for the district side of the site, which is the parking and their offices down here, to coordinate a whole new corridor for 7th and 8th Street, to take it down from being a drag strip or speedway to being much more of a neighborhood street, where that here showing diagonal parking through here, some retail might be developed across the street, offices, parking, where that would be in the long term, create something there that could really be a draw for people, provide services to students, but also be a neighborhood place. The library and the buildings across the street will then form sort of a whole new gateway on this side of campus that is of a similar value to the entrance here, that this would become really a place of a great place to enter the campus from. A lot of this has to do with landscape treatments of the entries, about whether providing new trees, I see if you have a question.
You're putting in retail in the current parking lot, cutting part of the A building and classrooms out for parking on the upper end of campus?
No, he's talking about across the street where you have the current existing parking for faculty.
Yes. What's up there where the A building is?
I just want to point out that the space that's on the drawings is consistent with the recommendations that are coming through the analyses. So when we take out space from the A building, the major new